All right, we are live. Kylie and JT, excited to talk about Facebook Meta, which is, of course, now what Facebook calls themselves. Facebook, Instagram, all the good things and how you can drive ROI in your business. So as you're popping on the webinar, please give us a hello. Drop your name, or drop a hello in the chat. Tell us who you are. Tell us where you're from. We would love to. We just want to know who's with us. I'm gonna stop that awesome hype up music. JT, if you were like a professional wrestler, that'd be your walkout song.
One thing you don't know about me is I'm already a professional wrestler. I may or may not use that song.
I owe you royalties now.
There you go.
Shoot.
There you go.
All right. Welcome, everyone. We're going to get started in just a second, but if you're just coming on, please say hi. Drop a hello in the chat. Tell us where you're from. Are you an agent? Are you an investor? Are you a hybrid? Or are you my mom and you're here watching? Either way, I want to, hi mom, if that's you, we want to hear from you. And also helps us make sure that all the tech is working the way that it should be working. So give us a hello. Awesome. We got Kristen with Mitchell Property Group. Oh, we love the Mitchell Property Group in Amarillo, Texas. I love it. Sterling Phillips. Nice. Thanks for joining, Sterling, out in Tampa. Good to see you. Thank you all for doing that. It's helpful for us. There's even though we've done a bunch of live webinars, you guys have probably been on a bunch of them. There's always this little like fear that something might not work with the tech. So we appreciate it. All right. Well, we've waited a couple minutes to give people a little bit of time to filter in. We're going to go ahead and get started. As you come in, please let us know who you are, where you're from. If you have any questions or something you're really hoping to learn, please drop that in the chat too. We'd be happy to try to address those as we go throughout this. Excuse me. We want this to be extremely valuable for all of you. So, all right. Welcome to the Ultimate Facebook Strategy. So we're going to talk about exactly what we're doing right now to weather this interesting market that we're in. So I think anyone who's kind of been around for a little bit knows the market we're in is unique for investors. And we've seen some investors thrive. We've seen some struggle. And we've put together some information on the 3 biggest mistakes that investors are making with their real estate marketing, and the two biggest reasons that investors quit right before the gold, right when they shouldn't. And then we're going to share the strategy with you that your competition wish they knew that turned $2K into $120K for one of our clients. So let's jump in really quick. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Kylie Newbold. This is my awesome family here. I am in Salt Lake City, Utah. So these are the Salt Flats, sort of famous area. And we went out and did a little family, had a little family fun, did a little family photo shoot. My wife and my 3 kids. When I'm not working in marketing, I'm out enjoying the trails, or drawing or doodling. I love doing all that kind of stuff. My background, I've been in marketing basically my whole career. I've worked across a handful of startups and industries. I was part of the team at the Color Run, which was the 5K running event with the colored powder. You may have heard of that. We built that from 0 to 75 million in less than 18 months. And after a handful of years with the Color Run, I was feeling like I wanted to do something else. And I happened to be chatting with a neighbor of mine who was a real estate wholesaler, and I had not heard of wholesaling before, and it really piqued my interest. And I started learning from him, and I realized that there was a big opportunity to infuse more digital marketing for real estate investors. And that's sort of the origin of Silver Street Marketing. So I pivoted. I took everything I knew about marketing from years and years of building campaigns and teams and strategies and brought it over here. And pretty quickly, the business started to grow, and I knew I needed help. So I started looking for someone to join the team, and I found JT. And I'm going to toss over and let JT introduce himself a little bit. But JT joined the team pretty early on, and has been a critical and pivotal part of helping us grow to where we are now. So.
Yeah. So a lot of you guys have probably seen me on the YouTube channels and the Facebook channel. So you guys might know me a little bit, but my name is JT. This is my family here. We've got 2 little boys. You can see they're a lot of fun, and my beautiful wife. And like Kylie said, I came on to Silver Street. It's been about 6 years now. And at that time, I was actually working in real estate, and I had something I wanted to solve. I'll tell you a little bit of an embarrassing story. As a college student, it started out really well. I made $50,000 in a month in the real estate business, selling real estate. And I had an awesome month. And as most college kids probably do with $50,000, is they go waste it on a lot of dumb stuff. And I made some poor decisions with my money, which and I didn't work anymore in real estate. I took a couple months off, just having fun, traveling, hanging out with my friends. And all of a sudden, I realized that I was running out of money. I needed to turn my real estate faucet back on. And I learned a valuable lesson of marketing and the consistency of it, and not having a pipeline set up correctly, and what that does to your business. And so it drove something inside of me where I said, hey, I never want to experience this again. I ended up having to go to a call center and worked at a call center for a couple months to get enough money under my belt to develop my pipeline again and get my marketing going again. I said, I never want to do that again. And that was right about the time where I met Kylie. And I was like, wow, if I can learn how to do this, not only for myself, but all these other businesses, what is the potential here? Like how much could I help other people make with consistent marketing? And that kind of inspired me to jump into Silver Street. And I've been here ever since. So I think that, it's just a testament to the consistency of marketing and what that can do for you. And that's a little bit of what we're going to be kind of going over today, of how you guys can really untap and open that faucet for your real estate business and just keep it flowing with some of these secrets that we're about to share.
It's awesome. Thanks, JT. My guess is that there are people out there listening either now or later that can relate to your story. That yo-yo of up and down and income is tricky for anyone to manage, but especially when you're young and haven't had some of the hard lessons of life yet. Awesome. Cool. So, all right. Oh, I got to get back over to my slides here. So we're Silver Street Marketing. If you're here, I think you probably know. Oh, hey, Aman. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. You probably know who we are. If not, we are marketing professionals that we focus primarily on real estate investors. So we eat, sleep, drink, breathe, lead gen for real estate investors, specifically using Facebook and PPC. And we have run a lot of ads in our time. These are some numbers of where we're at. We've worked with hundreds of investors, hundreds of thousands of leads, and thousands of deals have been generated from the ads that we've run. I think collectively between me and JT, across everything we've done, we've probably run $25 to $30 million worth of online advertising. Here's just a quick example of who we work with and what they have to say. So we work with all kinds of investors all across the US. We worked with some in Canada and even in the UK. And our focus really is about driving value and ROI for the clients. We're very data driven, and we want to see you succeed. One of the reasons I started doing this was I loved hearing about the passion and vision of you all when I'd get on the phone with you and talk about what you were trying to do and what your vision was and why and what your why was. It really lit me up, and so it's exciting to continue to be a small part in the success of so many awesome people. Like, let's get into the meat of it. So if you have questions as we go through this, please feel free to drop them in the chat, or if you have comments, feel free to do the same. We're going to do our best to address those as we go. I'm going to do my best to keep this whole thing to 60 minutes or less. That's our goal. We got a lot of stuff we want to cover with you, so we might move kind of quickly. And if you have questions, please stop us. But let's talk about 3 common mistakes investors make that cost thousands of dollars. And these are, when I say common, these are things we see all the time. And then let's talk a little bit about how to fix them. Dean is asking, will you have a replay link later? Yes, Dean, the plan is to have a link up. And if you registered for the webinar, you should get an email when that is ready. So mistake number 1, not paying attention to targeting and audiences. Marketing really is a pretty simple formula, y'all. It's the right message to the right people at the right time. And that middle one, the right people, is so important. And the reason digital marketing is so powerful is because of the ability it gives us to get even more granular with our targeting. So JT and I often see investors who are running their own ads, or investors who have maybe been working with someone they found on Fiverr or something like that. And they've been struggling and they're getting frustrated and they feel like it's not worth it. And when we jump into that account, to that Facebook account, often what we see is that they have not put much thought into their targeting strategy. So we're going to tell you exactly what we do for targeting. So there are a few options here. There's the Facebook built-in targeting. So that's your interest-based. And these things have sort of changed over time, the interest-based options. There's Facebook engagement. So you can target people who have interacted with your ads or interacted with your posts, your Facebook page, etc. There's pixel behavior. So pixel is a Facebook tracking code. And this is where you'd get like a website retargeting audience. And then lookalike. But if you notice, I've got a line through that. Now, some of you might already know this, but not too long ago, Facebook said goodbye to lookalike audiences for real estate and a couple other categories too, credit, employment. It's all part of some privacy settlements that Facebook has had and with the HUD, Housing and Urban Development. And that was a big deal. So, I mean, JT, prior to this, lookalike audiences were often like 50% of our budgets, right?
Yeah, and I think a lot of investors out there, that was primarily what they were focusing on. And so anyone who was kind of running ads, this shook up a lot of the competition and a lot of the ad floor. But one thing that as a Facebook advertiser that you always get excited about is actually these types of changes, because this creates opportunity. And when there's opportunity, that allows us to be able, it doesn't matter how high the ad costs are or what the market is experiencing, it opens the door for finding more qualified leads at a cheaper price. And that's exactly what it did for us.
Yeah, because what you're saying there, JT, is like when something like this happens, some people either aren't paying attention and their ads just get turned off because they're using these audiences that no longer are allowed, or they get frustrated and they go, oh, well, I guess Facebook, like the days that Facebook's not going to work anymore. So I'm moving on. And there's, like JT said, there's always this little dip where we see increased opportunity when one of these changes happen. And these changes are not new, and there will be more of them. It happens all the time. In fact, I listed some of those here. Like, these are just some of the other things we've seen happen over the years with just Facebook. Organic reach, that changed dramatically back in like 2014. A couple of years ago, we lost the ability to target based on certain demographics, like income and things like that, right? So the change is constant, and your ability to adapt to that is critical. So let's talk about what we do. So we want to give you some real tactical advice here that you can take and deploy. So these are our current favorite audiences to target. So we got custom lists. That is any list that you have. If you are cold calling, direct mail, pulling tax delinquency lists, etc., you can still target custom lists on Facebook. So you load those up into Facebook and you target those. Previously engaged. So that can include a lot of things. So that can be like I said, website traffic. That can be video views, people who have watched one of your videos and or interacted with other parts of your page or website, your Facebook page. And then we have an interest-based recipe, we'll call it, that we use it. That's Facebook's baked-in interest targeting, which also, by the way, is always changing. And Facebook doesn't always tell you, like, hey, this interest is going to go away. It just does. So that's something we're constantly keeping an eye on and constantly testing to find the right audiences.
Yeah. And, Sterling, I think has a good question that a lot of you might be, wondering is, like, randomly different things will happen on Facebook. How do we adjust what we're doing to make sure, that it's the best option out there? Now, Sterling, you're specifically, how they changed everything from you can't target people just living in this single location. It has to be the location that you have your radius around and anyone that's recently in it. And we're going to dive deeper into what that really looks like here in just a second. But I think it's a great example of, there's always going to be these little changes. And as a Facebook marketer, you have to be constantly thinking, how do I solve this problem? And how do I create a perspective so that when my leads are coming in, or like the people who are going to see my ads, it produces the solution that we're looking for. So I just want you to know, we'll get specifically to that question, but it's got to deal with how we're creating that perspective for the people who are viewing our ads. So inside the ad creation, that's how we combat changes like this, or changes to how we're able to target. You'll actually see it right here on our ad breakdown. We still spend 30% of our ad spend on a broad audience. So this is going to be like people who are just in our demographic or visiting our demographic area. We don't even narrow that down because we have so much confidence in the way that we write our ads that our ads themselves will help narrow those people down. Now, there's also some other reasons why we spend 30% on a broad based audience. Part of that is going to be the increased engagement. When we can increase engagement on Facebook, that's going to decrease our overall costs. So our cost per lead, our cost per click, and our cost per reach. So our actual reach per impression rate. And that will allow us to get in front of essentially more people for less money. And that's the whole goal. We then move into an interest-based audience, which Kylie was just talking about. And they tend to change a lot, but they usually give you a really good base. That's going to be, we spend about 50% of our ad budget on that. And the reason why we do that is because most of your most qualified leads and first engagement with leads that will become deals happen inside of this particular part of the funnel under the interest-based. Oftentimes it will be a little bit more broad than what it used to be for like a lookalike audience or something like that in the past, but it's narrowed enough that it will really feed our bottom funnel, which is going to be our hot audiences. Those are going to be a lot of our retargeting audiences, our lists that we have, any type of engagement that we have on Facebook. So when we're engaging with people on that interest-based level that are a little bit more narrowed, more in our niche, and our ads are kind of filtering them through, they end up in that retargeting audience where there can be a lot of benefit there. And that's why we spend about 10 to 20%. It's just a lot smaller of an audience, but that spend is really, really effective. And that's kind of been our recipe on how we spend our money and what is most effective for generating the most quality deals, as well as the most getting the lowest cost per acquisition, so you have the most deals from your spend.
Awesome. Perfect. All right. So that's audiences. And that right there, what we just walked through with you is critical. We see a lot of wasted money, a lot of frustration by people not having any kind of audience strategy. And even as Facebook has removed or changed some of those targeting options, it remains very important to think about, as JT was saying, sort of nurturing people down through your funnel and getting people from cold to warm to hot. All right, mistake number 2. These might seem so obvious, y'all, but trust me, the reason we put them is because we see them all the time. It's not paying attention to your ads. And that can mean a couple of things. That can mean that you are you created one ad and you're just running it and you're sort of hitting people over the head over and over and over again with the message, or you're not paying attention and taking advantage of the opportunities of testing creative, testing your ads to optimize your results. Let's talk really quickly. I think this is really important that everyone understands this. So this right here is, they call it the stages of awareness. It's basically the process that someone goes through when they're making a decision. And if we put this in the scope of real estate investing, you have people that are unaware, meaning they don't know they have a problem yet. So this could be people who are tax delinquent but haven't realized that they're coming up against a deadline where they can't pay it or whatever. It could be someone that is about to inherit a home through probate, etc. You have people who are problem aware. They know they've got a home that they need to sell, and they also know that they probably need to get creative in how they sell it, right? They've now kind of come to realize, like, shoot, I'm not gonna be able to sell this maybe the traditional route. Solution aware, that means that they are aware that investors exist, that there's an option to do to sell their home for cash or to do creative financing. Brand aware means that they know who you are, your business. And then the decision is where they're deciding what they're going to do and who they're going to do business with. The reason this matters so much is because I think a lot of people sort of don't realize how Facebook sits in this world. So if you think about SEO and PPC, those people are actively searching certain terms. So we assume they're at least problem aware because they're looking for solutions, and they're maybe even solution or brand aware. Facebook, what makes Facebook unique is it actually sort of spans the entire spectrum, which allows you to capture people earlier in their decision-making process. And also means you have people that are in different stages. So if you think about that in the context of your ads, there's really opportunity to make sure that your ads are helping you further refine and target your audience. So really quickly, the anatomy of an ad, it should do really 3 things. It should get people's attention to stop their scroll. It needs to create interest so that I feel like there's some value, and then I need to know what to do next. There's a lot of things to consider when it comes to an ad, and we won't have time to dig into super high detail here. We do have a lot of free resources on our website and our YouTube channel if you want to dive deeper into ads. And we actually have a bunch of ad templates that you can download for free. I'll share that with you here at the end. But yeah, you got your copy. You've got your visual. That could be a video. That could be a collage. That could be a slideshow, your button, your headline, your description. So we are constantly and regularly testing all of these and determining what is going to create the best result. At a high level, there's some maybe seemingly obvious things, but are really critical. If you don't want to buy mobile homes, don't put a picture of a mobile home in your ad. And again, I know that sounds obvious. I'm being a little bit silly, but we have seen where someone will go and grab like a stock photo of a home and they'll put it in an ad, and that home doesn't really look like the homes that they might be buying. And so that ad isn't resonating with the audience. In your text, you can get specific about what you are looking to do. And that can help further refine your targeting.
And I've got a quick little story, Kylie, if that's okay if I share.
Of course.
It happens a lot. We manage ads for investors all over the US, UK, Canada, and a common conversation that we have is they say, hey, our ads aren't looking really pretty. I feel like our ads don't look like the prettiest ad out there. And it's funny because you have to, this is partly done to testing, but this is a conversation we have a lot because not always is the prettiest ad going to win. That's why we test. And oftentimes we found that the ugliest ad, the one that doesn't look like something that we'd be like, oh, I'm super proud that I created that ad visually, is the one that wins the test. And it's because it captures the attention of the person that's going through. And it's also something that potentially could be relatable for that person who's clicking on the ad. And that's why such a qualified lead can come from it. So always look when you're creating your ads, not from the perspective of me as the investor or me as the business owner or me as the Facebook marketer, but rather as the perspective of who am I trying to target? That seller, Lacey, who has this home that she just needs to get out of. And this is her chance. What does that look like? What is she going to be able to relate with? And maybe it's, she thinks my home is so ugly, no one's willing to buy it, right? Like those types of things are going to be the things that up your quality when you're creating your Facebook and Instagram ads.
Yeah, it's an awesome point, JT. Like the data over emotion. And it's hard because we see an ad and we think, oh, I like this. But you have to be willing to say what I liked isn't what the market liked. It's not what's getting the results. So here's a couple of our favorite styles of visuals that we use. If we're using still imagery, meaning it's not a video, localized homes. So making sure that the homes look like the homes you want to buy. Just take pictures of the homes that you're buying or homes that look like the homes that you want to buy. The idea is you want someone to say like, oh yeah, that looks like could be a home in my neighborhood. Kind of looks like it, could be my house. We've had great success laying text over those in all different kinds of variations and with collages. We've also had some success. I'm going to show you some examples in just a second of some illustrated ads too that don't use photography. And then on the video side, intro videos and testimonials tend to work really well and at different parts of the funnel. So intro video is your classic standing out in front of a house and maybe showing everyone the house and talking about how you solve problems. Critical piece there is don't make it about you. Make it about the problem that you're solving. Make sure that you're demonstrating value. And then the testimonials are exactly that. People talking about why it was easy to work with you. All right. So here's just a couple of quick examples of what some visuals look like. So here you've got a highly localized image, right? This investor wants to buy mobile homes. You got some text overlay. Here's an example of just an illustration. And then these two here, this is a testimonial video, and this is sort of a slideshow style video. We recommend that you run dynamic creative, that you run testing. And we typically will do that as well, unless we're in an account that we've started making some decisions on where we're maybe running a combination of dynamic and not dynamic. All right, we're on to mistake number 3. I'm trying to move fast, y'all, because I don't want to keep you here all day, but I want to make sure we drive really good value for you and that you can walk away from this with some actionable items. At the end of when we get through all of this, we'll also give you a little more detail on how you can work with us if you want to, or how you can get access to some other resources to keep learning yourself. So mistake number 3, thinking they can set it and forget it. Creating an ad on Facebook, I mean, it takes some effort, and you got to know how to use some of the tools, but that's actually the easiest part. Wouldn't you agree, JT? That the
Yeah.
hardest part comes after?
Yeah. When you're jumping into, it's funny because, Facebook advertising, it's not rocket science. I really think anybody can do this effectively. But oftentimes people don't understand where they should be actually focusing their time and what they should be doing. And again, this isn't for everybody, but if you are going to be running your own ads, this is kind of what you need to be paying attention to. We call this optimizing your ad. Some of the main things that we're looking at is data points that are going to reflect what Facebook's algorithm wants. And we kind of have goals that we know if we get to this result, Facebook is then going to push our ads to more people for less money. So one of those is like maximizing our engagement. So we're watching how many people are actually engaging with our ad. From those, how many people are actually clicking on that ad. From that, how many people who land on our page are actually filling out the form, right? Those are helping us make decisions all along the way so that we can adjust our ad, whether it's in the targeting or in the creative or in the budget allocation, so that it does it at the best scale, and that it reduces all of our costs across the board. And along with that, there may be things where we need to be refreshing content or copy. Maybe it goes stale. Maybe our frequency rate, so how many times one person sees our ad on average, is going up higher and higher. That's telling us, hey, look, we need to get a refresh in this account, and we need to be able to reduce that, because Facebook is going to see that the same person is seeing the same ad multiple times, which they're then going to raise your costs. So we're always kind of combating Facebook and trying to give the algorithm what it wants, so that it gets the best results possible.
JT, there's a good question in relation to this. So Sterling's asking, how long do you run dynamic campaigns before switching to non-dynamic? Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and take that one?
Yeah. So now this is going to be a little bit different for everyone's account. I can't be like, hey, Sterling, run your ads for 2 months on a dynamic and then switch to a single, because it's going to change. So remember, we're always going to look at things from a data point. And typically what we want to watch for is, one, we want to make sure that our frequency levels are low. That's why we're going in with a dynamic ad, is to try to keep those frequency levels low. So that's going to be part of what we're looking at. Second is going to be, where is our cost per lead? When we're doing dynamic ads, generally it's going to help us get to a little bit lower of a cost per lead in the beginning. And once you start to see that the majority of your budget is allocated to 1 or 2 image slots or 1 or 2 copy slots, then you're going to start reducing the amount of media and copy options that you have in there, and you're going to start moving it down. And so you're going to gradually work down to, maybe you have like 1, 2, or 3. Once you get down to about that, you have 2 that are working really well or so, you can start breaking that out into single image ads and continue the test. But I always like to have 2 media options and then 1 copy option that I know are like my primary. Those from the dynamic ad test, everything that I saw gave those results as being the best. Now, usually for me, I've kept dynamic ads running in an account for as long as like 6 to 9 months. I mean, we've had accounts run on dynamic for its entirety because it continued to see success in it. But I've also had accounts where after 90 days or so, everything was being allocated to one specific option. And I knew that what was best for the account was, even if I put new options in, it seemed like they weren't testing it. It was better to move into a single image ad and break out 2 or 3 single image ads and test from there. So everything is based around that data and just making that decision on reducing the amount that's in there, seeing what are giving the best results, and making sure that it's not just always favoring the past historic option if you're adding new stuff in.
Awesome. Okay. Great Great answer there, JT. Thank you. This is sort of at a high level, the optimization framework that we follow, and to help us troubleshoot through an account. So if you want, you can screenshot this thing or message us after, and I'm happy to share a version of it with you. But basically, we're looking through all the KPIs. So the important thing here I want to make sure everyone understands is that if you're not doing this, you're probably leaving money on the table. You're maybe overspending or underperforming, because it really is a game of optimization across all these variables. And the great news is there's opportunity to always optimize and to continually make things better, but it definitely is not a set it and forget it tool. Okay. We made it through the 3 mistakes. So let's jump into the 2 most common reasons investors give up on Facebook marketing, and why that means even more ROI for you in 2023. Because if they give up and you don't, then you don't have to compete with them for people's attention. Reason number 1, Facebook leads aren't motivated. I hope some of you are nodding your heads as you read that along, thinking like you've either thought that or you've heard that. Facebook leads aren't motivated. Let's talk about that for a second. I've heard that so many times when I'm talking to investors. And my first question is always, what does that mean that they're not motivated? And then we dig in a little bit. Does that mean that they aren't motivated as motivated as a PPC lead or a bandit sign lead? Does that mean, and I think ultimately where we come down to is assuming that you've got your targeting and your ads set up correctly so that you're not pulling a completely wrong type of lead. You're probably not fully considering this right here. Because if someone is kind of in this area here, which we see a lot of people here right now, Stuart has a good point. Why are they responding to the ad if they are not motivated? Stuart, I agree. And I think that's the question, right? Is like when we say they're not motivated, what does that mean? Well, maybe it means that they're a little bit, they're still kind of in their decision-making process, and they're going to require a little bit more nurture. Or maybe they've not quite fully accepted that they missed the peak for selling their house and what they're willing to accept for their house now. So, you have a couple options. You can look at that and say, okay, well, they're not motivated. I'm going to move on. But I'll tell you this, at some point that person's going to sell their house. And what we are seeing, especially in this market, is that about 20% of the deals that are closing within what we'd call a quick time frame. So like maybe 30 days. And then 80% are closing in a much longer time frame, like 3 to 6 to 9 months, right? So you have to choose whether you're going to adapt and work within that environment. I do think right now it's much harder to find a lead that's like ready to close right away. They're still there, but the market changes and we adapt. So this is maybe a little complicated graphic, but it's basically trying to show you that your marketing and your sales are a full system. So people find you either like through a postcard or through organic search or through Facebook. If they opt in, then now this is where like you've got to get to work and you've got to nurture that lead and work on your sales process. And we've found that this piece right here, the nurture piece, is so critical, especially with online leads. So we recommend if you are going to run Facebook or PPC ads, that you have an automated marketing system built that will allow you to follow up with these people quickly and often. So we've heard as many as 14 attempts or 14 touches within the first like 10 days of a lead coming through. And then making sure that if that lead if they're not ready to close right away, don't give up on them. Don't throw them away. Drop them into a follow-up sequence where you reach out to them again in 30, 60 days. Just check in with them. And that's how you build a pipeline that can consistently generate over time. Oops. So consistent and persistent follow-up, critical. Reason number 2, Facebook is too expensive. JT, how often have you heard this one?
Yeah, it's funny because you hear it quite a bit. That it's just, you have to understand what Kylie was going through is going to help you guys get to more deals when you understand what the journey of the lead actually looks like. And a really easy way to do this is, right, we're calling it the backwards like budget math. And what I always try to remind people is on Facebook, you have to understand like the difference between some of your other maybe more traditional marketing, like let's say like a direct mail, like someone's calling you directly, right? The difference is when you have someone coming from direct mail, you're only going to get a whole, like probably only have about 20% of that entire list that will actually see your mail. And then from that, you'll have a percentage that give you a call. Whereas on Facebook, you're going to generate a bunch of leads right off the bat. You'll probably only have, of the leads you generate, 20% that will actually close a deal right from the beginning. But the rest of your deals are going to come, that other 80% of your deals are going to come from farther and farther follow-up sequences. And that's what makes the follow-up so important. And we have to understand that, so that instead of making decisions off of emotion where we're like, oh man, like we generated, 20 leads this month. We had 3 that we, or 4 that we went and saw, and then we have 2 contracts out. It's not a successful month because of XYZ. You have to remember, you have to look at the data from a larger time frame. We're not looking at this from a day-to-day basis. We're not looking at this from a week-to-week basis. We're looking at this month to month, if not quarterly. And we're looking to see on those closings, because that's really where you're going to see the best results. And you're going to see, once you start being more consistent, that the more granular views will actually look better and better and better, because you'll be able to have more faith and be able to say, hey, I know X amount of dollars in marketing gives me X amount of leads. Of those X amount of leads, I consistently close XYZ. And I know that comes in XYZ timeframe. And that's kind of what gives people the ability to go farther and farther and farther. And that gives them more and more deals over time.
Awesome. Yeah. I love the same question I like to ask if someone says Facebook leads aren't motivated. I like to ask it when someone says Facebook is too expensive. And this works for any channel, by the way, not just for Facebook. But the question is, what does that mean? What is too expensive? So if I were to say to you, JT, I've got something to sell to you, it's $5,000. Your first reaction might be, well, $5,000 is a lot of money, right? And if I give you, if you say, okay, I'll do it, and then I give you a Band-Aid, a used Band-Aid I found on the street, you're going to be pretty upset. And I would agree that that Band-Aid was too expensive. But if you give me $5,000 and I give you a new car, a house, whatever, then all of a sudden, no, that wasn't too expensive. That was worth it. And that's why this math matters. Understanding what you can spend. Great question, Sterling. We're going to get to that. We'll get to that in just a second, man. So here's really quick, some backwards budget math that you can do to basically determine what a lead is worth for you. So take your close ratio. How many leads does it take you to close? We see on Facebook like 1 in 10 is good. If you maybe are struggling a little bit with your follow-up or your sales and closing process, you might be 1 in 15, 1 in 20. Your average deal value, and then make sure that you're accounting for how much profit you want out of that deal. So the 4 to 1 is just I just picked a number that's a pretty good number to say, hey, yeah, I'm willing to spend like 25% of my profit on marketing. So if a deal is worth 10 and we want a 4-to-1 ratio, we're willing to spend $2,500 to get that $10,000 deal. Okay. If it takes us 10 leads to get there, that means each of those leads is worth $250. So if this stays true and you have a cost per lead of $125, your first gut instinct might be, that's too expensive. I need cheaper leads. But not if they're closing at this rate. You're actually half of what you'd maybe be willing to of what you'd be willing to pay. Dean asks, closing 1 out of 10, is that deal under contract? Yes. Yeah, that's what we mean. Deal under contract, or that you bought it yourself and you're going to, because we work with we work with wholesalers, we work with flippers, we work with creative financiers, we work with people who are just trying to build their own rental portfolio, etc. So, all right, now you can start looking at what you want to do. So now we're getting into the broader scale, like JT was saying, on a month or on a quarter. How many deals do you want to do? And what are you willing to, or what do you need to pay in order to get those deals? And by the way, these numbers are not set in stone. These are things that you should be adjusting over time as you learn more and you understand better, like what you're closing and what the value of those deals are, etc. Okay, so that's backwards budget math. Before I jump into this, I'm going to just answer Sterling's question really quick. Which conversion do you prefer, lead forms or website landing page? All things being equal, we prefer the website landing page if you've got a good website. So the reason for that is that those leads tend to be a slightly higher quality. So there's a little bit more effort and intent required for someone to click and go to the website and then fill out the lead form versus doing it right on Facebook. But that being said, we run both. So if I had to choose and if I was just kind of starting out, I'd probably run landing page leads, but lead forms can work as well. And there are some things that you can do to optimize your lead form to help drive that lead quality as well. Good question. All right. So we're here now to the third part of the webinar together, which is how can you run Facebook ads and still still run your business. We're going to jump into that. JT, were you going to add something there?
No, I think you hit it right on the spot.
Okay. Yep. Sweet. Okay. So here are the 4 things that we recommend you consider when you're thinking about how you're going to approach running your Facebook or PPC ads. So 1 is budget. We just kind of talked about that. Make sure that you're being realistic about what you're willing to spend, what your budget is, and what it might take in order to get a deal. Second one is time. And we have expectations, which is kind of a combination of time and budget, and then also system. So we already talked about budget. Let's talk about time. One of the most common sort of mistakes we see people make is they don't come in with the right expectation around time. They turn on some ads, they run them for couple of weeks, 30 days, whatever, and they've spent a few $100 and they start stressing because they haven't closed a deal yet. So we always recommend that you have a 90-day commitment mentality when you approach Facebook. The average time to close or to get a deal under contract, now some of this depends on your ad spend, right? So if you have a smaller ad spend, then it might take longer to get that lead volume, but it's about 60 days, the average time to get a deal under contract. That close ratio, like I said, anywhere from 1 to 10 to 1 in 20. And then the cost per leads can vary quite a bit across markets too. This little graphic down here, I'm guessing most of y'all have seen this before, but I think it's such a perfect analogy for what we see, which is someone starts Facebook and then they quit, and the Facebook takes some time, the algorithm takes some time to sort of get warmed up. And oftentimes we see people quit sort of right as that's about to happen, as for that algorithm to get warmed up. So we recommend come into it with at least a 60, 90 day mentality.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the system side, we talked about this a little bit already, but you've got to be ready to have some fast and frequent follow-up, and consistent, fast, frequent, and consistent follow-up. You need to be in front of these people, email, text, phone call. And then what is your sales capability? So one of the things where we've seen people struggle is if you're really good and really comfortable talking to a certain type of lead. So maybe you've really figured out how to do probate leads and you're really good at those. And then you move over to Facebook and you start getting like you're still getting probate leads, but maybe now you're starting to get a little bit broader use cases. Sometimes people struggle a little bit to adapt to that. And we are also seeing right now that those with creative exit strategies are able to close more deals. So as the margins have sort of tightened on wholesaling, and flips have become a little bit harder to find those margins on as well. If you look at creative exit strategies, like lease options or wraps or owner financing, those types of things can allow you to close more deals. And this kind of comes back to one of the things we were talking about earlier, this idea that the leads aren't motivated. Who was it that said that? Was Stuart, right? Stuart said, why are they responding to an ad if they're not motivated? They have a problem. The question is, can you match a solution to that problem? All right. So when you're thinking about running ads, there's kind of two main options, right? You can do it yourself. We got that over here on the left, DIY, do it yourself, or you can have someone do it for you. And that can be someone you find on Fiverr. That could be an agency. That could be your nephew that is in college or whatever. There are pros and cons to both, right? On the DIY side, you're not going to have a management fee, but it does take time to learn and it does take time to manage. So you're trading money for time basically here. And the other part that maybe I didn't put on here is just whether you have any interest or passion in it. You know, if it's something that you enjoy and it gives you energy, that's awesome. But if it's something that sucks your energy, then that's a big problem. All right. And then on the management side, you typically are going to get better results. Again, well, it depends on who you hire, right? Results will vary. But how to choose is tricky. So do you choose someone that is cheaper, but maybe doesn't have as much experience? Or do you find someone that is an expert? It's typically going to cost you more, right? Because now you have the management cost and your ad spend cost. Now, JT and I have been running ads specifically for real estate investors for 7 years, 6, 7 years. We've both run ads for all other kinds of industries. And we also have taught several courses. So we have a course. We've had a course with Carrot. Some of you are familiar with carrot.com. We have our own course where we have taught everything that we know, like everything that we teach, everything that's in that course is exactly what we do with our clients. And we've had hundreds of people go through those courses. And what we've found is that most of those people who go through the course, they're able to grasp all the concepts. They're able to understand what they need to do, but they they underestimate the amount of effort that it's going to take them to effectively manage their ads over time. So we see a lot of people who come in, they get things started, and then sort of over time, things kind of, it gets deprioritized, or they get distracted or they get frustrated because they got something that is difficult to figure out. It takes a lot to manage your own ads. So that's something to consider. So I lost my train of thought there for a second. Sorry, y'all. We know that there are people who want management and they're great suited for management. And then we know that there are people out there, some of these might be you, that you're not quite there yet. Maybe you don't quite have the budget for management. If you're gonna go down the management path, we recommend you have at least $2,000 plus a month in budget. So there's people who aren't ready for management, but we've been we're not loving the way that the do-it-yourself is working for a lot of people, because we want this to drive a lot of value for people. And so we started thinking about this in a different context. Let's talk about eating food, one of my absolute favorite things to do. There are a couple different ways that we can get food on our table. One is do it yourself. We can go and we come up with the recipes. We go to the grocery store. We buy all the groceries. We come home. We prep it. We cook it. We eat it. We also have a professional chef. A professional chef takes all of the thought out of it. They make good food. So expert food. And we just show up. We just sit at the table and the food is there ready to eat. So I think this is a great analogy. This is management right here. This is hiring the expert chef. You don't have to know anything about food. The chef knows it all, and he's going to make sure that you're eating good every single day. Over here, if you stop doing everything you need to do for this, then you will run out of things to eat, right? So you have to keep doing it on a regular basis. But in the food world, there's this thing that kind of sits in the middle. If you've ever heard of Blue Apron or HelloFresh, these food delivery services that they do a lot of the hard work and heavy lifting. They have the recipes, they get the ingredients, they measure the ingredients out, and then they ship these prepackaged things to your home. And then all you have to do is some assembly and some cooking, and now you're ready to eat. So it's this perfect combination of both worlds where it's still self-service, but with expertly crafted guidance. And as we were thinking about this, we realized that there's got to be something like this for the Facebook world. And so we created something called REI Zapper, which we're super excited about. It's pretty new. We haven't told a lot of people about it yet, but we want to tell you guys about it right here. REI Zapper is the HelloFresh of Facebook ads. So it's all the power of management, or all the power of that chef, but at a fraction of the cost. So what would it be like if you could generate motivated seller leads in just 3 clicks? That's the idea behind REI Zapper. So this is what Ads Manager looks like. If you've ever spent much time in here, if you ever spent any time in Ads Manager, you know it's a crazy powerful tool, but it's also complex, right? All those things we talked about today. There's ad sets, placements, demographics, targeting, campaigns, ad creative, copywriting, CTAs, plus all of the optimization. And our goal was to take that and to simplify it into a single, easy to use dashboard. And if you can pick a movie to watch on Netflix, you can generate motivated seller leads with REI Zapper. So I'm going to take you inside and give you a sneak peek of what REI Zapper looks like, right? When you get into REI Zapper, you're going to see some categories of ads that you can run. So here's an example of some of those: cash buyers, mobile homes, motivated sellers, seller listings. These have been really helpful for like flippers that are trying to, or excuse me, this one's for listers over here. This one's more for agents. And all of these ads are custom built by us using all of our knowledge. So we've taken all of our testing of ads that have worked well, copy, creative, etc., and all of the targeting, and we've baked it into these already. So let's say we choose motivated sellers. So we click on motivated sellers. That's going to pull up some options for templates. These are just some examples in here. And each of these templates is preloaded with a few different creative options and a few different copy options. So coming back to what JT said earlier, following our recipe of what we found as for a combination of creative and copy and call to action. Now, so then you click on the one you want. You come to this page here, and here's where you're deciding just a couple of things. Do I want to do a landing page or do I want to do a lead form? So we had a question about that earlier. What do I want my daily budget to be? What's my website? And from there, we can click launch. So in literally 3 to 4 clicks, you have now launched an ad that is the ads that we would launch for you if we were managing your ads. There is the ability here under optional info to go in and customize some of that kind of stuff. You can upload your own creative. You can adjust some things. So if you want to get into the details a bit, you can. But the beauty is you can launch an ad within seconds and have it be a professionally built, proven, high-performing ad.
And if it's okay, Kylie, I just kind of want to share a little thing there. A lot of people, when we talk about this, something that's kind of cool to note is I would almost compare it to like an ad library. Like everything that Kylie and our team is doing, we're watching all of the results from that. And then what we're doing is we're releasing it on this platform as like our ad library, where you can go through and you can be like, oh, I already know that this one works. I already know that this one works. I already know this one works, because Kylie and JT's team are watching that. They're already testing that. And then they're putting it into the ad library, and we're putting more and more ads in there. And then on top of it, we're watching your guys' results too. So we're seeing and we're saying, okay, these are all the things that are working best. And then that way, no matter what option you choose, you have an optimal option that you know is going to get the best results for you.
Yeah, well said, JT. That's why I love that food analogy, man. Like we are behind the scenes testing recipes. We know exactly what tastes good. We know exactly what amount of ingredients you need, and we are preparing all of that and sending it to you. And all you have to do is click the button and launch it. All right, let's talk about a quick case study of Brian.
Yeah. And Brian's a really cool example of the power of REI Zap, or of this program, that our ad library that we've put together. And his story, Brian came into this and he had thought, Facebook could work, and he had experimented with it before, but didn't really know how to do it. And unfortunately, we live in a space where there's a lot of people out there that will tell you one thing, but really they haven't tested and learned over years of experience of how to do something right. So Brian came in, and within 60 days, he spent $750 a month. So it was about $1,500 total in spend. He only generated 11 leads. A lot of people are going to be like, oh man, $1,500, 11 leads, it's like $150 a lead. That's really expensive for Facebook ads. And I tell you what, a lot of marketers would tell you the same thing. And I'm not going to say, oh, that's not expensive for Facebook ads. Normally we want our Facebook ads a little bit lower, but here's the difference: quality. When we know that quality is there, that's what we're focusing on. It doesn't matter if you spend $1,000 on 10 leads or you spend $1,000 on 100 leads. If you aren't closing deals, you're just wasting time. And that's what is so cool about the way that we put together our targeting mixes and the way that we put together our filters on our ads. And it led Brian to $120,000 plus profit. Now, Brian is a flipper. So for you that just wholesale, you'd have to imagine that you're probably going to be, that would probably be more of a range of like a, $25,000 to $35,000 wholesale fee. But for $1,500, he was able to bring in a profit over 120,000, and that's taking out all of his expenses. And that's the power of what Kylie and I are talking about when we say the recipe. When you actually know what you're doing and you have proven results to back it up, that's what this creates.
Awesome. And look, this number over here, this 120K number, like that's variable, right? And Brian had an like incredible ROI on his ad spend, but the numbers are consistent. Meaning that the time frame, the lead to close ratio, and the ability to get ROI out of that lead. So REI Zapper, y'all, we're really excited about it. It's all of our expertise, best ads, targeting, and more, all put into a single, simple to manage tool. You can pick from a library of proven ads, publish the ads. Targeting is already built in, and there's also a couple additional tools for those who need it. So you can integrate with your existing CRM, or you can utilize a CRM that is inside of REI Zapper. So if you don't have a CRM yet, you can use one inside of REI Zapper. If you already do, you zip them over there. If you don't have marketing automation yet, meaning if you don't have emails and phone and text message automations to go out, that's included in REI Zapper. We also have social media integration, so you can manage your social media posting through whatever social media accounts you have. There's an option to manage your Google My Business through that account, which is kind of perfect for the hybrid agent investors. So REI Zapper, all of that is $197 a month, which is a fraction of the cost of management. And I think that ends up being like $6 a day or something like that. So for the price of a cup of coffee or a cheap lunch, that REI Zapper. But for those of you on the webinar today, we have a really unique special, and because we're so excited, we want to get more people. We want to get more people using REI Zapper and realizing the power of it. So here's what we're going to do for any of you that are interested in giving this a try today. We're going to take 3 months of REI Zapper. So that's everything we already talked about. The click and deploy, professionally built templates, all the targeting already baked in. You're going to get access to any new ad content that we create. We also will be behind the scenes watching your ads and campaigns with you and giving you advice on maybe some updates you should be making. You'll get access to the reporting dashboard, integration to your CRM via Zapier, access to that automated follow-up lead nurture, the social media integration, and the Google My Business chat call tracking. You'll get 3 months of that, which is a $591 value easy. So that's $197 times 3. Plus, we're going to throw a couple extra things in there. Plus, we're going to throw. Oh, we see that, Dean. We'll get on that. JT, did you see that from Dean?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to throw a couple extra things in here. One is we're going to build out a custom campaign for you inside of Zapper as well. So you're going to get all those categories and templates I was just showing you. We will also build you your very own. So that means we'll customize some ads for you with your logo, with your imagery, and you'll get that on top of all the other templates, including for website retargeting. So we'll create that retargeting campaign for you. We normally charge $1,000 to do a build out like that. We're gonna give that to you as part of this REI Zapper. And then we're going to give you a live onboarding process. So white glove service. We'll help you with, you'll get one-on-one chat with one of us on the team. We'll walk you through the setup and the integrations. If you can't figure out how to install your Facebook pixel, we'll help you with that. And we'll help you launch your first ad. So JT, I'm going to have you just drop that banner off for 1 second so we can see the bottom, and then let's throw it back up there. Okay, awesome. So, and here's what we're doing. Like that's over a $2,000 value easy. Just the 3 months of Zapper is almost $600. We're going to build things out for you. That's $1,000. Our time typically to go through the, to get us live, to chat and get priority support through email and call. And it's $197 once. That will give you 3 months of REI Zapper. And during those 3 months, you'll get to test and run and figure things out. And at the end of those 3 months, if you want to keep using REI Zapper, awesome. You'll roll into the monthly subscription. If you don't, you can cancel anytime. There's no commitment. So $197 for 90 days, that's like $2 a day to try out this incredible tool, get access to all of our knowledge in the form of a click and deploy self-service tool. All right, let's throw that banner back up there, JT. So if you're interested in that, you can go to this URL here. There should also be a link that's on the page for you, and also we'll send you an email as well. So any questions from anyone on this? Oh, I should mention this. So because we're so heavily discounting this is like 70% off. We're not going to keep this open forever. We're going to close it Sunday night. So we'll give you a couple days to if there's anything you need to decide. But we're going to close it Sunday night. So $197. Dean, good question. The Dean asks, how much is the ongoing subscription after 3 months? It's $197 a month. So the offer today is you're basically paying one of those subscription fees, and you're getting 90 days of access plus the 2 bonuses, which is the custom built ad campaign and the live onboarding and strategy. And then after that, you'll roll into the subscription at $197 a month. We're so confident that by the end of 90 days, you'll see the value that you'll continue. However, if you decide not to, your Facebook ad account is yours. So you can take that Facebook ad account and continue to sort of do things without REI Zapper. That's totally an option for you as well. All right. Any other questions or thoughts that you guys want to add? Oh, okay, good question here. How would you unrate REI Zapper to your full management service? Stuart, I'm not quite sure what you mean by maybe that's a typo. I think you're just asking us, like, how would we compare REI Zapper to full management? So full management is the right answer for a certain person. And if you have like 2,000 plus on the Facebook side, or what, JT, like 3 to 4 plus on the PPC side of budget, and you are not, and you just want to focus on other things, then you're the right candidate for management. Go ahead.
I would say, when making this decision, what this REI Zapper software is really valuable for is helping you get started and get the right type of stuff out there. But, you're still going to have to be involved in the management process. The biggest thing that we saw happen is people would take a course, and maybe you guys have done this too. You would finish maybe 30, 40% of the course, and it doesn't matter how much you spent it on. We've sold courses for a lot of money, and we'll see people just drop out and not even use it. And for us, our biggest thing is like, you're so close, you're so close to helping your business succeed. But the implementation part is where most people fell off. So this gives you the ability to get ads going right away, but you still have to manage that ongoing process. Where full management, you don't have to worry about anything. So full management is where you're going to take a step back and you're going to say, hey, JT, Kylie, your team, you guys are professionals. You guys do what you do best. And I am just going to be I'm just going to be hopping on, going through the doors and doing the sale. So if you want to focus on the sales side, full management is typically a better option when you have the budget to do it. But when you're maybe in a bootstrap mode where you don't really have the money for management, this will just help you get ads out quicker, and it's going to decrease the likelihood that you either don't finish a DIY like course that teaches you how to do it, or it'll decrease the likelihood that you accidentally do something wrong when you're setting it up. So instead of accidentally, because sometimes, human error is possible, especially when it's your first time doing it. Kylie and I've had how many years of testing and doing this over and over again, over and over and over and over. I've spent money on ads that haven't worked. I've messed up ad accounts before when I was learning, right? Myself, my money spent and 0 leads come from it. But when you have something like this, it ensures the likelihood that you are going to see some success coming in. And so that's kind of the difference between the two. So,
yeah. Awesome. I'll just add one thought there to what JT said. The management side, you don't ever have to make a decision on what ad is getting turned on or turned off, and on the REI Zapper side, you're pushing some of those buttons, right? But we're telling you everything's there. That's all you have to do. And so the value and the difference is Facebook Ads Manager is super complex and can be really confusing and difficult. So you're getting all of that baked into a really easy to use dashboard. The other thing I would throw in there is that you have access to some of those additional tools as well. So you've got access to the marketing automations if you need those, if you don't have those anywhere else to help you follow up with leads. You've got access to some of the social media tools and the Google My Business tools, if those are something that you're using right now in your business. All right. So Stuart says, would you guys recommend REI Zapper for the first 60 to 90 days and then go full management? Stuart, I think that really depends on your budget and your appetite, man. Like if you've got the budget and you're willing, like you're ready to go, it might be worth looking at management from the get-go. Certainly you could do REI Zapper first and kind of get a feel for it. But I think that's more based on what you're looking to do and what your budget is. Yeah. Aman, after 3 months, you'll go into the monthly subscription price of $197 a month, plus whatever your ad spend is. So you get to control what your ad spend is, and we can give you advice and coaching on what we recommend there. But you have full control over your ad spend. Great question. Awesome. Okay, keep them coming, guys. I love the questions. Happy to answer any others you guys have. I also want to throw this out here too. If you're looking at this and you're not quite sure what's right for you, or you still have more questions, we'd love to chat with you. So drop a comment in here. We'll hang on here for a few more minutes and answer questions. But you can also go to our website. Our YouTube channel has a lot of stuff on it. And then this link right here, this bit.ly link, will get you to our calendar. You can schedule a time to chat with us. So if you're maybe not sure which option is right for you, then we recommend, just jump on a call with us. We'd be happy to chat it through with you. Dean, hold on a second, man. I missed your first question. Oh, okay. I see it here now.
Yeah. I can help answer that one. So Dean, I would recommend, so typically when you're doing like multi-state campaigns, you're going to have a lot larger of a reach, which is going to lower your cost per lead. But the hard thing that you have to realize is that it's going to be a lot harder to make sure that your areas that you're focusing on are going to be high quality areas. So your cost per lead could vary. You could get down to, like, I've seen campaigns get down to $10, $15 a lead, but I would really recommend not letting it get lower than $45 a lead. Usually, what ends up happening is you'll get a lot of extra, like, leads that maybe are a little bit more in areas that you wouldn't normally work, or just not the type of quality you're looking for. So, and again, it's going to depend also if you're doing a lead form or if you're doing a website. But for the multi-state campaigns that we do, we really don't want that cost per lead getting lower than $45 per lead, just because we've seen a drop off in quality once it gets lower than that. And then we would recommend driving everything through a website to make it harder for a lead to convert. The reason for that is also because it will increase the quality, especially when you have really large reach audiences like that. So,
yeah. And then, just one other additional thing there, like everything that we do is driven by data. So when JT is talking about, like, it might be kind of weird to hear someone say, like, you don't want to go below this cost per lead, but that's driven based on the trade-off in quality. So if you, Dean, are seeing something different, then, I mean, heck yeah, man. If you can get if you're getting a lower cost per lead, but not sacrificing on quality, then you wouldn't look at that threshold. But like JT was saying, that's just sort of, the point at where we start to notice that, right? So we pay attention to it. And the other thing to consider, Dean, too, is we talked about this a little bit earlier, is just what do your systems look like? So if you've got a team, a big team of people who can follow up with leads, that means you can handle volume a little bit better. You might be more comfortable sifting through some lesser quality leads. Or if you've got some resources to partner with a lot of people on different types of leads, then that might change your appetite for that too. Good question. All right. I'll give you a couple let's see. I thought I had a couple resources in here. I must have dropped them out. So if you're interested in any of the kind of free resources we have, let me grab those really quick here. Hold on bear with me 1 second, guys. I moved a slide here and I didn't mean to do that. So it's now, it's I don't know that I'll be able to find it. I was just going to throw up oh, here we go. It is here. Okay. It's right there. Perfect. Just a couple resources. If you're wanting some more stuff. So Silver Street Marketing on YouTube, we've got a lot of videos there. Facebook ad blueprint, which is a similar training to what we went through today, includes like a companion PDF. You can download that for free. And we've also got an ad template that you can download for free as well. All right. Well, let me just bounce back here one more time. I just want to go over the special one more time really quickly, and then we'll wrap this thing up. So if you have any other questions, drop them in the chat now. The webinar special. So this will be live until Sunday night. So don't sleep on it. You're going to get 3 months of REI Zapper, normally $197 per month. You're going to get a customized ad campaign that we charge. This is something that we actually do for people. And it's typically around $1,000 to do this. So we're going to throw that in and give that to you, which if you decide to leave Zapper for whatever reason, those ads will still exist in your ad account, and you'll have those custom built ads. And then the live onboarding and strategy, we're going to make sure that we walk you through step by step how to be successful, answer your questions, help you with the technical integration. And we're going to do all of that for $197. So I did the math on that. It's like $2.20 a day. If you take that over the 90 days of the 3 months. By the end of those 90 days, you'll either decide, hey, it's not for me. no worries. You can cancel at any time, and if you're finding great value, then you'll roll into the subscription price of $197 a month for REI Zapper. So $197 gives you 90 days. You got till Sunday. And if you don't see the link there on the page, that's where you'll go to snag that offer.
Before we end here, Kylie, we've got a couple good questions, I think.
Let's jump into them.
Talk about Sterling's question here. Yes, we have tried messenger ads. We have seen success, but it depends on the systems that you have in the back end. REI Zapper is a really good option if you do want to test messenger ads. It does allow you to run messenger ads. So inside of the questions that we ask you when we're launching the ad campaign for you, there will be an option that says, do you select landing page or messenger or Facebook lead form. You can select messenger, and the automations will help you respond to inquiring messages. So it is something that we have seen, but we hands down have seen that landing pages, like driving to a website, has always converted at the best cost per acquisition. So cost per lead will always vary, but cost per acquisition is the one that we really stick to, because that means you're seeing success. Another one, I think this is also another good question. So would we advise to choose Google ads or Facebook ads? Now, this is a question we have a lot of times, and a lot of people are kind of wondering, where do I start? Just what does that journey look like? And ultimately, most of you are all trying to build a really successful business that's going to last for years to come. So you will most likely run both Facebook and Google at some point. So the decision's not which one is going to be best, but rather it's going to be like, which one should you start with? And I would always recommend looking at 1, budget, and then 2, consistency. How much budget are you capable of spending, and how consistent can you be at it? Because I like both Facebook and Google. Both of them we run and we close deals from. But typically for investors who have somewhere like under $3,000 a month, Facebook is going to be better. And you need to remember, you have to be consistent at least at 90 days. That's for both Facebook and Google. Both have algorithms running in the back end. So I would suggest at least thinking in your mind when you choose a budget, how long you need to be consistent with it at a test. 90 days. So if you have under $3,000 a month for 90 days, I would suggest starting with Facebook. If you have more than $3,000 or more per month that you can be consistent at for 90 days, then you can start with PPC. Those are kind of some options for you.
Yeah.
But ultimately, running both is going to give you the best conversion rates across both of them.
Yeah. In an ideal world, you have your marketing channels should be working really well together. So JT's advice on kind of how to choose based on your budget. But there's if you are at a spot in your business where you have the budget, there's I would recommend a combination of both for sure. And you're just going to pull people at different levels of intent. PPC leads tend to be a little more expensive, but they tend to be more further along that awareness pipeline that we talked about. So you might have a higher close ratio there as well. So let's see. Do you manage / set up Google PPC, and what about Bing as well? Yes, absolutely we do. So right now REI Zapper does not have templates that you can just deploy on the PPC side. Something we're working on and excited about. But in the meantime, yes, we offer both a management service for PPC and a setup service. So management would be the full management where we're taking care of everything for you, or we have a service where we set things up and then hand it over to you to manage. So that if you're interested in learning more about that, Dean, let's schedule a call. Let's chat. So
and I'll throw that call scheduler link into the comments here.
Perfect.
So if you guys want to explore that option, we can hop on a call, you and me, and we'll kind of explore that personally for you guys. So
yeah,
awesome. That should be in there.
All right. Well, Thank you all so much for being here, for hanging with us, for asking so many great questions. I love it. And please follow up with us if you have questions. We want to see you succeed. We want to make sure that the time that you spent with us today was valuable for you. If you're ready to get started, go snag that REI Zapper, deal. It's a screaming deal. We'll have it up till Sunday night. And if you have questions, let us know. Otherwise, thank you all so much for being here. And we'll see you next time.
See you guys.